Hola. Today is Monday. Today's Monday the 21st. Kind of chilling in my room tonight. I'm looking for some feedback. What's up, Luz? Looking for some feedback. I'm looking for some people. I'm looking for some ideas, honestly. I'm looking for some ideas for the show. I told myself that the iTutor math show that I stream on YouTube would be, what's up, Irene? Mark. Hey, what's up, Mark? I told myself that the show that I do on YouTube on Thursdays would be a show that's supposed to help families with, families who are struggling with math. But I don't want to be dogmatic in the approach that I'm only preaching what I think people should be doing. And give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, because I'm actually using different camera, different microphone. So if you're watching, can you give me a thumbs up on the comments if you can hear me? I don't even know if you can hear me. Basically, I'm looking for some feedback. I'm looking for some ideas of how I can build the script out for the show. What kind of things are people struggling with? What kind of things are people having difficulties with mathematics, or what kind of things that people struggle with at home with their family more than anything? Like my buddy Rob Brewer and his wife, they hit me up with some ideas, and I was like, yeah, thank you. I see the thumbs up means you can hear me. So basically, I'm scouring the internet for ideas of topics that can basically be the show. Hey, Wendy. Looking for ideas, so it's just kind of casual. I'm calling it community brain dump because I'm looking for people. Hey, Ray. I'm looking for some ideas. So, there's this topic my son and I keep having about, I don't want to teach math on the iTutor math show on YouTube. I don't want to teach math. I know that sounds crazy, because I think the problem with mathematics is bigger than the math. Math is really simple, and the problem with math is really big, because I think the real problem with math is how it's taught and how parents don't know how to reiterate what was taught at school. And then there's that whole, what's up, Zach? Sandro, oh my goodness, Sandro, how you doing, bud? There's that whole, if I don't know how to teach math, or if I don't know math, how am I supposed to help my kid? Or how am I supposed to help my family? So again, this is a brain dump. So if you're watching, I see all of you watching, I'm looking for some ideas. I'm looking for ideas because I want people and their input to basically help me build the script for the iTutor math show that I'm streaming on Thursdays on YouTube. So hopefully I'll get a taker. I know I'm not the only parent in the planet who ever struggled early on with helping my kids with homework and math. I know I wasn't the only one. I mean, hell, I've been teaching math for 15 years, and you would think my children are straight A students in mathematics. That's not reality. That's a lie. That's like saying just because you're an athlete, your kid's going to be one. Irene says, one of my group's parents and grandparents are having a hard time with new math. Oh, that's a good one. I like that, Irene. And here's what I like about what you said. You said new math, and the fact that you said new math really gets my mind going, because check it out. I always tell my students, if we could go in a time machine and go back 4,000 years ago and run around half naked in robes with a bunch of Greeks, fractions are the same as today. Linear equations haven't changed. If we could go in the future, we'll probably be half naked in the future too, but if we can go in the future, fractions are still the same. That's right. 1 beer plus 1 beer equals 2 beers. Don't drink and drive. Mr. Garcia. Hello, Sandro. How are you, sir? So, Irene, that's a good point. I'm going to kind of capture this stuff. So, Sandro, you just joined. I'm doing this thing. I'm calling it Community Brain Dump. And basically, I think I want to do this every week. I think I'm just going to throw myself out there on Facebook every week and just say, hey, what are real struggles at home with math, and then I'll use that content to build the script for my Thursday shows on YouTube. Because I can't go on YouTube unscripted. Really, you can't. It's kind of like what I'm learning. It's like death of a YouTube channel. But Facebook's casual, right? So Irene, thank you for that one. I love that new math thing. I'm going to capture that because that's a good point. The fact that anyone would even say there's such a thing as new math is a good talking point, because there is no new math. There's only math. And again, I say this all the time, all the years I've been tutoring. Teaching mathematics is really easy. The hardest part about teaching mathematics is getting people out of their own way. People struggle mentally. There's fear. There's I've been failing over and over again. I can go on like a preacher in a pulpit when I talk about this subject. But what else you got? Cynthia. Hey, Cynthia. Hello, Becky. Hello, Jose. Thanks for chiming in on a Monday night when you probably be doing something more important. But basically what I'm doing is I'm looking for feedback for ideas for my Thursday show, things that people struggle with mathematics. So anything like that. Hello, Mr. Spots. How are you? So Irene, I got that. That's good. New math. I'm just going to put new math on my notes. Becky says, what is Becky saying right now? What the heck? So I'll tell you how cool this is, Becky. Watch this one, Becky. I don't know if I'm going to give myself more credibility or I'm going to kick myself out of the business with this one. Lattice multiplication. Man, I hope that's not a typo. I hope that is a typo. Lattice multiplication. Great question. I don't have a clue what that is. It's probably part of the new Common Core. That's a good talking point. Irene says, I remember my kids learned how to do math in their head. I can't see the rest of it, but you know what? Mental math. That's a good one, Becky, because I have all these years that I've been working with parents. They struggle. My private students, I would always tell my parents that when your child starts working with me, I'm also going to be teaching you and coaching the parent how to deal with the school. Because when a child starts learning mathematics, and there's more than one way to do math right. Oh, I'm getting that one. More than one way to do math. If a child starts learning mathematics and it's not the way the school or the teacher's telling them, then you run into that whole problem of, well, now I'm getting points deducted because I'm not doing it the way the teacher says I have to do it. And then I think that causes confusions for kids, because then they're like, well, am I doing the math right because my grades aren't reflective, or am I doing the math right and the school's just counting it wrong? So there you go. So Irene says couldn't show us work. So that's a good point. That's a good talking point. I actually like that one a lot, Irene. Mental math. I'm going to take another note. Not showing work, because I can go on two different tangents on that. We should reward children who could do mental math naturally, right? They go to school to learn. And if you have a kid who could do mathematics without doing it on paper, we shouldn't be punishing them. We should be like, all hail, because we're like 25th out of 30 countries in mathematics. But there is a systematic reason for why a child needs to be able to prove the mathematics, because I think though we do math because math can be proven. So good point. Sandra says new process for fractions is overly complicated. Could not have said it. I'm going to tell you right now, I tried to sit in and watch some of this Common Core math stuff, and I'm going to just be honest. I went ADD. I don't pop Ritalin or anything, but I think I needed some. So good one, Sandro. I understand the need to understand the logic of math, but the new process seems overly complex. It is Common Core. I'm going to do it. I'm doing that. That's a good one. Yes, it is horrible. When my son was in 4th grade, I had to find it on YouTube to help him. That's another one, because there's a lady who reached out to me a couple weeks ago. And check this out. So this parents always reach out to me, right? And I'm glad. That's why I want to do this community brain dump every week, so it can be candid, open conversation, help me build some topics of good discussion, and then I'll just take my expertise and I'll make that part of the scripts for the shows on Thursdays. What's up, Elio? So yeah, that's a good one. But speaking to your point, Becky, I had a parent reach out to me the other day. So this is how the story went. So watch this. Parent reaches out to me, and it's the same story. Bobby, I heard you teach mathematics. I heard you can help children. Can you help me? My children are really struggling. It's like this whole family breakdown, right? So I asked, okay, of course I can help. That's what I do. And I asked, well, tell me what grades they're in. And I was thinking, middle school, 5th, 6th, 7th, high school, because that's where the problems really are, right? It's harder level thinking. The parent writes me back and says, they're in 1st and 2nd grade. And I was like, what? Life should not be that complicated in 1st and 2nd grade. I don't know. Maybe we were dumb growing up, but if you could count on your fingers and toes, you were a pretty awesome 1st grader. And you probably had a head start going into 2nd grade because you could count toes and fingers. But mathematics has gotten really complicated to where a 1st grade child, you're talking about a kid about six years, maybe 7 years old, having that kind of stress. It's no wonder that by the time a kid's been in school for 10 years and they're 11th or 12th grade, they're done. So think about the implications. A child gets to 11th and 12th grade, they've been beat down so much morally, academically, systematically, that they don't want to continue mathematics or engineering or science as it relates to engineering, or even technology as it relates to engineering, as it relates to mathematics, because we kind of killed it, right? We sucked all the potential passion out of a child. Like Irene was saying, children who can do mental math, we just kind of depleted any creativity that might make a child say, when I get older, I want to be in technology. And then we have people coming from different parts of the world to America getting great jobs, great paying jobs. And it's no disrespect to them, but they're coming in getting great paying jobs built around mathematics, right? Strong engineering, mathematical, analytical skills. And we can't even house that in our own country. So good points. Hello, Rachel. Hello, Donna. Hello, Danny. So basically, those of you joining, I'm just doing this little live thing for a couple minutes. I'm looking for input of real family problems and dilemmas that you might have with mathematics. And I'm taking notes to help me build the script. So this is your chance. You're like, hey, there's something I think Bobby should discuss or address, or if Bobby thinks he has a solution to a problem. And I don't mean math problem, which leads to another point. My son, Damien, my junior executive producer of the show, he thinks that maybe I should be teaching mathematics on the show. And I don't want to teach mathematics on the show. Think about it. How boring is it to watch it? Remember when we were growing up back in the day and we had to watch documentaries in school? You remember that? It was like, oh, gee, please turn the lights out so the substitute doesn't see me sleeping. Who wants to watch a show every week teaching mathematics? I don't think that, maybe I'm just thinking about it too much. I don't think people would want to do that. But so for me, it's not teaching mathematics. It's teaching all the difficulties related to mathematics. Like, for instance, it's like that parent, or like, so here's some of the points I captured so far. So Common Core. Oh, you're absolutely right, Sanjo. Math major, math minor. Just think about this. If we became a status quo nation, or I'll just go even lower than that, my own backyard, if we became a status quo city or status quo neighborhood of kids who were just average B students of mathematics, meaning they didn't fail and they didn't conquer the world, but they were sound in mathematics. To Sanjo's point, think about how many doors that's going to open academically for school, not to mention the transformation of that entire community just by having a generation of children who are competent mathematically. Think about that. That's pretty profound, right? And I keep saying this, there's 51 million, I got Leah's on, and Leah was my financial analyst. So if I do the math wrong, she was gonna slap me. But there's 51 million children in public school in the United States. If my show actually contributed to parents, helping them take ownership of the education at home, to be able to help their children rise mathematically. Just 1% of that population, that's 51,000 children. Think about that. Think about all what that can change. So again, the reason why I do the show on Thursdays, the iTutor Math Show, and if you're not a subscriber, I hate to be shameless, but go out to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. Think about that. Anyway, so again, those of you watching, I'm not just kind of rambling here in my Goonies shirt for fun. I'm looking for some input. So Irene, I got yours. These are great. These would be great shows. Mental math and the whole problem of not showing the work. That's a big one. I could talk on that one. You mentioned new math. I don't know about new math, Irene, but I if you want to elaborate, you can, but I can probably talk about that just on the fact that you said new math, which probably leads into the whole Common Core, right? Common Core is a big conversation for a lot of parents. Again, I've seen it. I tried to watch some of those videos. I went ADD and I was like, I don't know anything about. I literally walked away feeling like I knew less about mathematics than I do by watching someone teach Common Core. Kind of puts you to sleep, honestly. So those are good talking points. Becky said lattice multiplication. Becky, was that a typo? Lattice multiplication? What the heck? Somebody Google that. What is lattice multiplication? Never heard of it. So 15 years I've been teaching math. I don't know what lattice multiplication is. Maybe it's just a method, right? So that's a good one. I could talk about that. More than one way to do math. That's a good one. So any others? Looking for some input. Erica. Hello, Amanda. Hello, Jojo. I think my little girl's watching. Hey, Jojo. Hey, sweetheart. Daddy's trying real hard to save the world mathematically, so you don't have to go through this. But hello, Louie, Georgina. Irene puts a math problem. That's great. No, it's not. It's not a typo? So lattice mathematics. Okay, so lattice multiplication. I don't know what that is. Irene, are you giving me an example, 34 plus 7? It's probably some long method, right, for how to do it. So again, I'm looking for talking points for the Thursday show. I have decided that I'm just going to do this thing on Facebook. I'm going to call it Community Braindump. And if you've got an idea for a show, talk about it. Post it right here. Leave me a comment, and I'll build the script. I've already got 4 good ideas, and we've been streaming. How long have we been streaming? Does it tell you? I think I've been streaming 15 minutes, just kind of casual conversation. So these are good. I've already got five talking points, so that's like 5 shows. I will send you a video. All right, Irene. If it makes me crazy, it makes me hate math, I'm gonna blame you. Rachel says, "Hola, I've been watching. It's new math for me too." I don't know what new math is. It's the same math that we've been doing since the dawn of time, since caveman figured out 2 dinosaurs plus 1 human means run. I couldn't understand how to help my child with multiplication because it was broken down to 2 part of solving 1 problem instead of back in the day when you just solved it. Now we're into fraction, it's been going okay. So the Common Core is the problem. I think I'm gonna do a show on Common Core for sure. So thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Irene, for that one. What else y'all got? And here's the thing. So I'm not gonna talk really. I don't want to get into it tonight, but the Common Core thing is a big deal because it's really delicate. It's a delicate topic because as a parent and as an educator, I'm a firm believer that the ultimate owner of the child's success is the parent, not the school. The ultimate party responsible for encouraging and enlightening and sparking that desire to continue learning is the school, right? So the school, whatever you want to call the school, the community of place where people go, to me, they're responsible for nurturing that desire to want to learn. The parents are responsible for ensuring that children have the attitude and the material and the mindset to learn. But I still think and then the child has the responsibility of learning, right? It's 3 pillars that make a successful child, in my opinion, academically and mathematically. But I still think that the parent is the ultimate owner of the success of that child, not the school, because you're the parent, right? They belong to you. So all the parents that have been working with me over the years, they'll tell you, and I don't think there's any on right now, but they'll tell you if you ask them. I always tell them, you own the responsibility for speaking up for your child, so you're gonna have to go to bat for them. And sometimes it's a fight. I have parents right now that they had to kind of go to war of words with the school to say, hey, my child could do the math. They can prove that they could do the math over and over again, but because they're not following particular steps that you might want, it's a bad thing. And I don't think it is. There's more than one way to get the right answer in mathematics. Yes, there are rules that a child needs to follow. Anyways, that's obviously going to be a good topic. So hello, Brandy, Linda, Nina, Cameron. What's up, Elio? Don't teach math, but maybe have a quest that you explain how to do math. Or maybe have a panel of students that share why they don't like math. Elio, I don't hang out with any students that don't like to do math. All my students love math. I have middle school kids that can come on. Interesting. You know what? That's good. I want you to elaborate. I'm capturing this. So Elio, if you're still listening, elaborate on that, okay? What do you mean? I want to hear more. I have middle school kids that can come on. You know what? That could be interesting. Talk about throwing down the gauntlet. Bringing kids that I've never met before to sit in front of me live and teach maybe I could teach. I've done this before. If any of y'all are familiar with sigma notation, that's kind of second half of college mathematics, so you don't really see sigma notation depending on where you're at and what high school. But I usually take kids that are 5th and 6th grade, 7th grade, and I give them sigma notation as their first problems with me. And there's a whole element to that. I also do a silent lecture. I want to patent that. But when I teach mathematics, I do it without talking because I believe that we have the aptitude to learn anything by watching. That's why kids can pick up phones and controllers. And I mean, who reads the instructions on Red Dead Redemption? I don't know anybody who does that. So that's a good one. Elio, I want you to keep expanding on that. Have a panel of students share why they don't like math. Panel of kids. I'm taking some notes, Elio. Maybe, here's the thing. I don't want to be a guy who's an advocate for mathematical excellence and then have a show that has a bunch of kids like bashing math. But if we had children who wanted to share why they don't like it, it might give us insight into a bigger issue that then we can then work to solve. So that's a pretty good one. I mean, I have a lot of that know-how because that's usually the first question I ask parents when I meet them. Like when I meet the child, I want to know what's going on here. Because again, if this was the problem in America with math itself, the mathematics is like that big. All the years I've been teaching, it takes no time to teach a child math. It takes time to help the child with this area, which is the mental block. Fear, feeling like a failure, already feeling like a failure, getting bad grades, disappointing their parents, not feeling up to par, not feeling good enough. There's a lot of insecurities that are born in children from a grade. That's why my students, when they work with me, I always tell them, you don't get a grade with me. What you get is a teacher who's going to serve you to find out what's the real issue, which is usually mental, and get over that. So that was a good point, Elio. I like that a lot. Kimberly, Francisco. Hey, what's up, Francisco? Francisco was one of my students. Francisco was one of my adult students, so they started jumping on me. Francisco, you gotta get my back. Hello, Lily. Hello, Vanessa. Hello, Vanessa. Hello, Griselda. Hello, Mr. Hill. Sydney, Big Sid. What's up, buddy? And hello, Alyssa. So Alyssa's one of my students. I'm all excited. Alyssa was one of my adult students. She was one of my adult students. Anyways, thanks to you, all y'all who just joined. I'm gonna recap again. This is called Community Braindump. This is my first video on Facebook. It's just casual. I'm looking for ideas and talking points so that you can help me build the script for the series that I do on YouTube. So again, the show is called iTutor Math Show. I have a channel on YouTube. I just started. I'm brand new. Last two live videos I did, I lost connection because I'm still learning the technology. I had to start over. It took me an hour to stream last week. but we're learning the technology, me and my little team. But I'm looking for talking points. And so far, Irene and Elio and Becky have given me some good talking points for the show. So I'm looking for ideas. What are some real struggles? What are some day-to-day struggles? And don't tell me fractions. I mean, unless you're going to be a little bit more specific. I'm not looking for the math problem. I'm looking for what's the problem at home? What's the problem? Because, oh, here's another one. Word problems. I'm going to throw that one out there. I'm just taking notes. Word problems. Reading has a direct correlation to mathematical excellence. So you have kids sometimes that they're like elementary school, first, second, kindergarten, first, second, third grade. They're like beasts in math, and they're like A students that get stickers every day. And then they get to third, fourth, and fifth, and their grades tank. And suddenly the parents feel like, oh my God, my child's not good at math anymore. And that's not the case. It's that they get introduced to real word problems, and then that they get introduced to thinking, right? And here's a problem. There's these things called depth of knowledge. It's a thinking classification, so to speak. And when you're telling a child what to do to help them get the answer, you're keeping them at a low level of thought. When children are pushed academically and mathematically to higher level thinking to prove mathematics or prove why something's right or wrong, that's depth of knowledge 3 and 4. Unfortunately, a lot of times in the American school system, we don't get to that level. And then kids who probably would do phenomenal in mathematics in college, they don't even get a chance to prove that, because when they get out of high school, they quit, because high school has already sucked them dry of any passion of higher learning. So word problems is another one. Reading goes into it. I think, Kathy, I think you said that. Didn't you talk about, yep, Kathy, dyslexia, worksheets. Kathy says, our son who's dyslexic, and I got the privilege of working with Kathy's son many, many years ago when he was a child, says, it's still difficult for him to work on worksheets, and it's not until my father-in-law writes it out for him or draws it for him that he understands what's being asked. So that's a really good point. Why should a child be only graded mathematically on a sheet of paper that 9 out of 10 teachers, just so you know, print out off the internet? Just saying. I wrote my own when I was teaching. I wrote my own material. But you're right. Just like there's people who learn visually, they learn by hearing, and they learn by doing kinesthetically. They learn, by reading the instructions. A worksheet doesn't prove knowledge. A worksheet just proves that you can turn in a sheet of paper, a sheet of paper, and hand it to the teacher and get a number score, and suddenly that quantifies you as intelligent. I don't do that with my kids. That's a really good point. Different learning styles. I'm gonna capture that. Different learning styles, i.e. worksheets versus maybe visual representation or word problems. That's a good point, Kathy. Thank you. I'll use that one too. What else we got? Any others? I'm looking for some ideas for the show. Hey, Francisco says, hi, Bobby. Your teaching was great. Oh, thank you. Did everyone get that? Just joking. Did everyone get that? Thank you. Hey, Pete. Hey, Arnold. What's up, Devil Dog? Mike Garcia, hello. Norma, hello. Those of you just joining, again, I'm looking for some ideas. This is called Community Brain Dump. Welcome to Community Brain Dump with Bobby Ozuna. It's kind of a casual, just a casual conversation. I'm looking for some ideas. I've already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ideas. So just so y'all know, those 8 ideas are going to equate to the next 8 more shows, and possibly 16 shows, because some of these points can be talked a lot longer than 10 minutes. So if you watch my, if you're a subscriber to my show, it's on YouTube. It's called iTutor Math Show. That's iTutor is one word. You can probably find it on my Facebook wall because I keep blowing everyone up with it. But I stream every Thursday night at 8 o'clock. I'm looking for talking points. And here's the reason why. Again, I said this at the beginning. I don't want to appear dogmatic in my approach. That just because I know how to take a child with a learning disability or an adult who's struggling or children who never mastered any element of mathematics. And I've been able to take them and turn them into a student with a different approach to math, how to approach it, how to not be afraid of it, how to dissect it, decompose it, and think it. I don't want to appear dogmatic because my natural tendency is to be argumentative when it comes to mathematics because I want to fight for children. My fear is I don't want to be that guy on YouTube that's like, oh, he's going off and this is how you teach and this is what's wrong, because I don't want to play the blame game. So I'm going to be doing this every week, opening up. If you've got ideas, if you've got real struggles, post a comment. You can post a comment after the video. Share with me some of those struggles, and I'm going to use that to build the script for the show. So if you're not already a subscriber, I'd love for you to subscribe. You can find it on YouTube. Click the little bell if you want a notification, because even though I'm supposed to stream at 8, we're still learning the technology here. And the past 2 weeks, I bombed that. Last Thursday, if you watched the video, I went back and watched it. I was like, I was so defeated that by the time it streamed 1 hour later, I didn't even know it was working. I was like, hello, welcome to the iTutor Math Show. And then my son was like, hey, it's working. And I was like, oh, hello, welcome. And it was already too late. So anyways, any other ideas? Hello, Tanya. Tanya was one of my students at Pascal. Alyssa was one of my private students. And Francisco was one of my students at Tarrant County College. I miss those days. I don't miss scrounging for money, but those were some of the best days ever. So Elio, Kathy, Rachel, I gotta capture that. Rachel, Irene, where's Rachel at? Oh yeah, Common Core, that's another one. Looking for some ideas for the show. Sandro got some good ones. Sandro, that kind of goes, I think that goes into the same thing. So new math is Rachel, Sandro, Irene mentioned new math. It's the whole problem of the Common Core. I get it. I know it sucks. I'm not going to lie. I'm a math teacher. I'm not going to. Thank you, Nina. It's hard, though. I'll be honest. I'm going to be candid, right? I'll be honest with you because y'all are my friends, right? Everybody on Facebook is my real friend. Maybe touch on too much screen time. Can hinder children's learning at school. Hands-on approach or digital approach, I'm sure teachers will be here. Thank you, Vanessa. That's a good point. And I like the point because I actually have two different sides to that argument. I'm a firm believer that technology is wonderful. I always tell my kids and my students that if I had a smartphone growing up in the society that we grew up with in the 80s and 90s, there's no telling what I would be today. Think about what we could have become. I mean, we can learn brain surgery on a phone. You know, they don't have to go to a library. They don't have to get a library card. They don't got to ask dad after he gets off work, could you take me to the library? Then you get to the library and the librarian's all like, shh, be quiet. It feels like you're in church and you got to go through the encyclopedias and all you got to do is Google anything. I mean, kids don't even need to go to elementary school. My personal opinion, everything that a child needs to learn in elementary school is available on the internet. I mean, honestly, they get social skills and they get structure, you know, now it's time to pee, now it's time to raise your hand, fart, eat, whatever. But outside of that, that's the thing. That's the reason why I want to do the show, because when parents are like, hey, I'm really struggling to help my child, I'm like, man, abuse the internet. Abuse the internet because it's out there. I'm not going to endorse any one particular group. There's a famous person that teaches on YouTube that started teaching on YouTube when I was at the beginning of my teaching career privately. I didn't like him then. I'm a little ADD watching him now, but you know, it's out there. So you can pretty much learn anything you want. So Vanessa, that's a good point. I'm going to capture that. Screen time. You say it can hinder a child's learning at school. I'm going to play devil's advocate here because I think that's a point worth talking about. I'm going to use that on the show. Because I'm an advocate for more screen time. Now, I don't mean like chilling out watching YouTube. Like, I got to peel the phone away from my son. But here's the problem. Like Damien, my 12-year-old, is always on the internet. He's the generation that's like YouTube. And I'm like, this is stupid. But then when you sit down and you eat and we have a conversation with him, he's 12. He knows some stuff, man. He's like an encyclopedia of useless information. And where did he get all that? He got it from the internet. So screen time. I'm going to capture that, Vanessa. I'm going to talk about that, screen time, because I can play that into, because I always tell parents that if you do 30 minutes a night, 4 nights a week with your child practicing, not homework. Homework's a bad word. We don't use homework in my house. I hate the word homework. I'm a teacher and I hate the word homework because that has so many negative connotations. I call it practice. If you have a child practice, so think about this. If you had a kid that's struggling with fractions, right? And there's a bunch of free things on the internet, worksheets, but like Kathy pointed out, worksheets doesn't work for everyone, but there's apps. I mean, heck, I used to have on my cheap phone, I used to have this little aliens versus toads, I don't know, some weird stupid game. And it was fractions to see how fast you can get the answer. And I used to sit around and play that thing, and not even that many years ago. But if you did that for 20 minutes a night, 30 minutes a night, 4 nights a week, how many weeks do you think it's actually going to take your child to build long-term memory, mental math skills in fractions? So that's another good one. Becky says the system is failing our kids. They don't know how to think on their own. There's too much pressure and focus on test prep. Oh, Becky. Let me tell you right now, I can do system failing our kids. I'm going to write it down. That's a big one, man, because I'm on both sides of the fence, right? So if it depends on what we're going to call the system. If the system is the school system, are they failing our kids? I don't know. They have a better education option than we did growing up in the hood, right? In the neighborhood in the 80s and 90s. They got better things. My son's in like this technology class at North Richland Middle. Hello, we didn't have anything close to that. We had they were still doing home ec. I never got in the class, but they have better. So is the system failing our kids? Now, systematically, is the system failing our kids overall? If we collectively grade ourselves as a nation? Yeah. I don't know who does the world ranking. Maybe somebody can Google that for me. I have my kids do it. My students have to do things. Hold on. Google who owns world ranking mathematically. But if there's 30 nations, let's just say the top 30 nations ranked from 1 being the best to 30 being the worst. America's way down at the bottom mathematically. And again, that really freaking blows my mind. I mean, this is the country that is the home to the Dallas Cowboys and New York Yankees, the United States Marine Corps, right? This is America. We can do anything that we want to do. But when it comes to mathematics, we're at the bottom. And it blows me away because that goes to thinking. It's not the math. It's not the math. It's not the math. It's not the math. And you ask the parents. You can ask, there's a couple of my students here that are online right now. You can ask them if you don't believe me. I didn't really teach math even when I was teaching math. When Alyssa's one of my private students out of my home, I didn't ask her. I didn't teach her any math. No offense, Alyssa. I didn't cheat you. You know I didn't cheat you. I didn't teach her. Francisco was my student at Tarrant County College when I was teaching adults. I didn't teach a lot of math. I talked about the mathematics to where they got to a place that they could see that the math isn't that hard. It's the mental block. And it takes a coach. That's why I call myself a rebel math coach. Rebel because I like breaking the rules, right? You know, you can't change the world if you do what the world already does. I'm an artist. You got to be a little bit different. I think we need more artists in America teaching. I think we need more people who don't know math teaching mathematics. I know that will never happen, but in my world, if I had my own school, I'd be hiring artists, right brain thinkers who draw outside the lines and, you know, phase out and you talk about mathematics. That's who I would hire because it's teaching them how to teach a child to think for themselves. That's the whole thing. That's what I do. So even when my students come over, Alyssa can testify to this, and Francisco can too. When my students will say, hey, Bobby, you know, I don't know how to do this, or how do you do this? I'd be like, I don't know. That's a great question. How do you do it? And then you start the process of thinking, right? Well, what do you know about the problem? What do we already know? What are they looking for? What's the real question? Sometimes students will go to town and they're like, oh my God, I got to do all this math. And I'm like, you didn't even read the question. They just wanted to know something totally different because half of math is a foreign language. So anyways, using technology to help practice is a great way to help our kids. I'm in for all that. There you go, Becky. So, you know, I think it's great. Think about it. if your child at 18 said, hey, I'm done with high school and I hate school, but I'd be willing to chill out and sit at home in my underwear and go to online school to go to college to at least get a 2-year degree, would we call ourselves failures for that as parents? No. We'd probably be like, you know what, they're going to school. So sitting around doing stuff at home, I think it's a good thing. But screen time, that's a good one. And the whole system failing our kids, Becky, that's a great talking point. What else we got? America Mathematics. Yeah, well, you're right, Vanessa. I'll tell you how overly cocky I used to be. Hello, Cindy. How's your daughter doing, by the way? Cindy is one of my parents. So Cindy's daughter was one of my students for a couple of years. So, you know, you can ask her questions if you want to. But so far, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 10 talking points. Anyone else? I don't want to keep y'all. I don't want to be doing this all night. I probably could. I ain't got no friends. Any other talking points? Any other struggles? Any other things that you remember as a parent if your children are older? Or if you're a parent right now or a guardian to a child and you're like, I don't know how to help them at home. If you got those ideas, throw them out here because I'm going to start. Hello, Erica. I'm going to start using your input every week on this community brain dump to build the script. So already these 10 ideas that y'all have given me, these are wonderful. These are beautiful. They're perfect. I appreciate it. That's 10 to 20 more shows. And that gets me about 5 more months. So thank you. I don't think I have anything else. I hope that you're subscribers to my YouTube channel. Honestly, because I don't get paid for it, just so you know. I mean, it's not like I'm doing the YouTube thing to get famous. I'm doing the YouTube thing because I don't want to tutor anymore. I don't want to teach anymore privately because I've been doing it so many years. I've got 5 students left, and a couple more years they'll all be out of high school, and that's the end of it. But I don't want to walk away and be like, all right, now what do? I have this world of knowledge. I've worked with all types of students, and now I'm just going to walk away when I know there's more families that need help. I can't do that. So the iTutor Math Show every Thursday is me trying to capture everything that I know that can help a family or inspire a family that's struggling with math and maybe save one of those 51 million children in the United States who are in public school in a country that's ranked at the bottom of a list. Honestly, I'm not like a social studies history major. I couldn't even name 30 countries right now. So the fact that we're on the bottom of the top 30 nations and I can't even name 30, that's embarrassing. So anyways, hello, Leah. Thank you. So if you got any other ideas, you can post a comment. Lots of good feedback. Thank you tonight. Y'all just given me 10 great ideas. I will tell you, do you have a digital book out? Elaborate. Hello, Nina. What do you mean? Digital book as in like my personal writing or my math stuff? Because I wrote a book to help parents at home, which basically became the Thursday night show because I realized if watching documentaries about math make you want to jump out a window, who the hell wants to buy a book talking about teaching math? So I decided to do the show on Thursdays because it's a little bit more engaging, right? FaceTime, see my face and better sound and all that stuff. So y'all just keep giving me the ideas. No, I don't. No, again, Vanessa, I don't because, no, I don't. Vanessa asked me if I have a digital book out. I do have a book that I wrote about 6 years ago, and it talked about all these different elements that it takes for a family to help their child be successful mathematically, but I'm not going to publish it because reading stuff like that is boring, and honestly, I'd rather do the show. So every Thursday night, YouTube live, 8 o'clock Texas time. If you're not a subscriber, I'm asking you to subscribe. Rachel, Irene, Elio, Kathy, Vanessa, Sandro. Did I miss anyone? Thank you for your input tonight because I'm honestly going to write the scripts and I'm going to talk about those points. I'm going to talk about them. So this Thursday's show is going to be called Show Don't Tell because that's a big one. I'm a firm believer, like I said, when the students that I work with, when I work with them privately, I don't tell them how to do mathematics. And when they first start working with me, it drives them a little crazy. When parents first start working with me, I know that they probably be like, this guy doesn't know anything about math and we're paying him. But the proof is in the pudding. All the years that I've been working with students, I can say that I've never had one private student that failed. Never. They weren't failures in my eyes because they didn't quit. They kept coming. They pushed through. They overcame that hurdle because like I said, if I had to put a number on it mathematically, 95% of the problems that people have with math are mental. 5% might be the math. And because math is so freaking simple, that's what kills me. Like I said, I was trying to say earlier, like 15 years ago, 10 years ago, I had this idea that if the president of the United States, whoever it was at that time, if they would just call me and let me get in front of the world, I'll solve the world's math problems. It's arrogant and stupid because that's not reality. The reason why I'm telling you that is I just believed that I had something inside me that can enlighten people to a place that they can say, I can do this at home. I can help my child. Because too many kids quit school because school or grades or feeling like a failure defeated them. And that's going to impact, and it impacts all of their life. Why would somebody, I don't want to send my kids to a place where they come home and say, there's no future for me because of a grade or a standardized test. No. So the show, I'm hoping that the show is going to be a place that I help parents overcome that. And here's another one. Here's another talking point. The whole socioeconomic argument. Think about that one for a second. Think about the argument that says, and it's only an argument because it's been proven statistically that if people who come from lower socioeconomic class, people who make less money, their children do incredibly less than families who make more money. And I don't understand that. I get it, but I don't understand it. Because I grew up in the neighborhood, and I can tell you right now, no one ever came into anyone's house in the neighborhood to steal homework. Think about that. It's a parental thing, right? But sometimes people who may not have succeeded academically may not know how to help their kid. That's the point of the show. So keep giving me those talking points. I'm going to be done. I think I've been doing this for 46 minutes. So all of you who joined late, I was just looking for ideas of struggles that you're having at home with your kids, struggles that people are having. If you don't have anything, thanks for watching me. I'm going to do this again next week. I'm going to do it one more. I'm going to do it every week. Did I just say hello, Mr. Sugar? I didn't see you on there. Cameron. What's up, Cameron? I'm going to do this every week. I'm going to basically just talk, look for ideas, and capture those ideas. So I think I'm done. If y'all don't have any questions for me or talking points or things that I could talk about on the show, thanks for watching. I'm going to do it again next week. If you come up with an idea or you hear another family be like, oh, I'm struggling with blank, send them over to me on Facebook. I'll use this content and I'll build a show. So anything else? Got 7 people left. 7 hardcore friends that stuck it out with me. I don't got anything else. You like the Goonie shirt? I don't have anything else. I'm going to use everything you got to write the script for Thursday. So thanks for watching. I'll see you all next week. Bye.